So today we're going to take an in-depth look at Book Creator. So I'm hoping you can see my first slide here. So in the chat, I put a link to my slideshow here, tinyurl.com/new to Book Creator. And I also have a website that I've created. It's all about Book Creator. So when I read up and find out new interesting content about Book Creator, I have this website that I created a couple of years ago. And same thing, tinyurl.com/BC for Chrome. So it's a great resource. We probably won't spend hardly any time looking at the website today because I have quite a few slides that I want to share with you. So a couple of resources that you can share with other teachers. And if you haven't used Book Creator before, you're in the right spot. So I've been with the Chignecto board since 1985. I taught phys ed for 18 years. And since 2005, I've been a technology integration specialist. And I've been to the majority of these summer institutes over the years as a participant or as a presenter. And each year I come away learning lots of great content, as you will this year as well. So glad you're here today. So the first thing I want to share with you is you can actually take on the Book Creator site, they have about a 1 hour certified author course that you can take. I actually took this a couple of weeks ago, and there were lots of things in the course that I wasn't aware of. So I'd highly recommend that you consider taking this, and they'll email you a little certificate that you can put into your slideshow or put onto your website if you wish. I'll show you exactly later on where this content can be accessed on their site. So let's take a look at getting started with Book Creator. So Book Creator has been around for quite a few years. It's been available on the iOS and the iPads for about the last 8 to 9 years, and it's been quite popular with the iPads. However, a couple of years ago, it's been developed so that it's available now to be used with the Chrome browser. So it's an easy way for students and teachers to create digital stories that function and look like an actual book. Even better, the books have a number of embedded accessibility features for struggling readers and writers for them to use. Okay, and it's flexible for any subject. It's ideal for students all the way from lower elementary right up to high school. There's something here for everyone. This slide here shows which regional centers in the province have Book Creator approved. Unfortunately, there are 4 regions that have not approved it as of yet. So if you're in one of these regions that has not had it approved, I'd recommend that you contact your technology people in the fall in your area and see if they can get it approved, and so that teachers can start using it. We've been using it on my board for the last number of years, and it's quite popular. So with the Chrome version, you actually get 2 libraries. One's going to be your own personal library, and there's 40 books that they give you in your personal library. Also, they give you a second library, which is going to be your public or your class library, and there's also 40 free books in that library. So the second library is the one that's really unique because they give you an invite code that you can share with your students. So in my presentation this afternoon, I'm going to show you how you can take that invite code, put it into your Google Classroom, put the link to Book Creator. So for your students, it's only one click, and then they put in the invite code, and then they can claim one of those books that's in your public library, and it's really easy to set this up. I'll share some more information on that a little bit later. If you're using the iPads, there's no class library. There's a free version and a paid version on the iPad. The only difference between the paid version and the free version is that the paid version allows you to have multiple books, okay, which is great. If you're using the free version, if student A is finished and student B comes along, they will have to delete all the content that's in the previous book to start a new one. So the paid version is about $7. So I kind of steer teachers to using the Chrome version these days because of the two libraries that are there, especially the public library. So you can also do some app smashing as well. So you can take other types of files that can be created in other applications, such as Pick Collage or Explain Everything or iMovie, and you can have a finished product and import those into your book creator. So it's very easy to app smash. So as I mentioned before, with the iPad, you can only create one book with the free version. With the iPad, if you want multiple books, you will have to buy the premium subscription, which is about $7. And then there's Book Creator for Chrome, as I mentioned. It's available on all internet-enabled devices these days. It's really easy to use. All you need is the Chrome browser, and you simply log in to their website and sign in with your Google account. And it's really easy to do file sharing as well. The iPad does have some unique accessibility features, though, that make it easier for students, and it helps support students with various types of learning disabilities. And there's lots of those available in the Chrome browser as well. And we'll talk about a few of those today. The Chrome version has a collaboration feature, which allows students to invite other students to work on their book with them. The collaboration is usually a paid feature, but during the pandemic, the people at Book Creator turned this on, and I believe it's still enabled. So that's a nice feature. So you can use Book Creator with Safari on Mac devices and on the iPad. And as I mentioned, it's available now on any device as long as you can download the Chrome browser or use the Safari browser. So like I said before, during COVID-19, they enabled the collaboration feature, which is really a really nice feature. It allows students to invite other students to work on a book together in real time. And I've got a link there you can click on to find out more information about that. So one of the nice things about Book Creator is allows the child to take their rough copy for their book, and they can create an authentic looking book that looks more professional. And it's just a lot of fun for them to put it together, and students can take snapshots of their artifacts and import them right into their book, or they can use Google and search for images and bring those in. So their end product can be a pretty outstanding piece of writing, which they'll be really proud of. So there's lots of different ways they can use Book Creator. They can retell stories. They can do a photo book, a year-end book, write a story, a brag story, an all about me, choose your own adventure. There's many, many ways that they can use Book Creator. One of my favorite exemplars you'll find in the library when you go into Book Creator, there's one called, it's a little book created by a grade 3 student. It's called Pete the Cat. And it's a really cool, cute book about a little girl that had read this book, and she puts her own little twist on it, and she has her own little artwork in there. So there's lots and lots of different exemplars that you can share with your students and take a look at in the resources. This is just one particular one that I like to share. I'm not going to play it right now because the audio is not going to work because I'm sharing my window here and not a tab. Okay, so to get started, you can actually open up a new tab if you want to, or you can come back to my slides here later on and go through these at your own pace. All you're going to do is you're going to create a new tab and type in www.bookcreator.com, and it takes you to their website, and you're going to sign in. Over on the right-hand side here, you'll see I've got an image and a couple of arrows. Make sure you click on Sign In as a Teacher. And of course, you're going to sign in with your Google account. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward getting set up. Once you're in, you're going to see on the left-hand side, you're going to see this little icon. We call it the hamburger with the 3 little horizontal bars. And when you click on that, it's going to show you both of your libraries. Okay, it's going to show you your personal library right over here. And there's 40 books for you to use of your own. And then over here is the one that I'm going to be talking about a lot today. And this is the second library that they give you, and it's going to be your public library. Okay, so this is the one that you're going to be sharing with your students. So to get your name on it and to rename it, all you have to do is click on settings here, and it's going to allow you to rename your library. Okay, so when you click on settings, you can call it, you can put your last name on it or your first name, whatever you prefer, and you're going to name your library. Down below here, there's a couple of other settings. Okay, the second one here, when you enable that one, students can edit their own books. Okay, so you want to turn that one on. The third one down below here, I've found with middle school students, they prefer other students not have access to their books. They can't edit them, but they can see their books, right? So middle school students kind of prefer, I've found, they rather other students read their books when they're finished. So you might want to enable this when everyone has finished their books. Okay, and the last one here allows students to publish their books online. I usually leave that one off, and you can maybe enable that one later on once you get more familiar with using Book Creator. So those are a couple of settings that you might want to turn on or turn off. But the big one here is you want to rename your library, and then what's going to happen is you're going to see an access code. Okay, so in your public library, you'll see right here, you'll see invite code. When you click on that, you'll see 7 characters, letters, and numbers. So you're going to want to copy and paste this, okay? So what I'd like to talk about now is how we're going to share this with your students. So the easiest way is probably to share this content with your students in Google Classrooms, okay? So in Google Classrooms, you're going to create a topic, and you can simply call it Book Creator, and then you're going to create a material, okay? So create your material, name it Book Creator for Chrome, and then for your description, you're going to type in class code, and then put in the code to your public library, okay? And then down below here, you're going to click on link, and you're going to type in www.bookcreator.com. So now when your students go to your Google Classroom, all they have to do is click on the hyperlink, and they're going to see the code right here, or you can write it up on the board as well. Okay, so then when the kids go to Book Creator, it's going to ask them to sign in with their GNSPES account, and it's going to say, hey, what's the code? And then once you give them the code, they're going to have access to one of your books inside of your public library. It's really easy to set up, okay? And if you folks have any questions at any time, feel free to, to ask at any time here. I'm also going to, I've also posted a link to my slideshow in the chat. I should have mentioned this before. And also my slideshow is available on the slideshow or on the Summer Learning Academy website under slides. So,
hi, Paul.
yes.
Miriam is asking if you would please show how to sign in again. She missed the signing in.
I'm sorry, what was that question again?
How to sign into Book Creator?
Yes, how to sign. So it's just www.bookcreator.com. So open up a new tab. Just open up, make sure you're using the Chrome browser. Open up a new tab, and then type in www.bookcreator.com. All right, maybe I'll just take a step back here, open up a new tab, and I'll show you that. www.bookcreator.com. Okay. So you click on sign in. And I'm already signed in. I already have an account. So I'm going to sign out here. Yeah, so there you go. So it's going to ask you, are you a student or are you a teacher? So make sure you click on teacher. And of course, you're going to sign in with Google. All right. It's going to ask you, and it'll also ask your students to authenticate your account. So you click on your name, and then you're in. Okay. It's really easy to get started. Okay, next slide. So there's the code. So like I said, you can copy that code and you're going to put it into your Google Classroom, create a topic, create a material, and you're going to share out that code to your public library. Now, if you're a junior high teacher or a high school teacher and you find there's other students getting into your library, you can renew the code and it'll actually refresh the code so students can't get in under the previous code. All right, so once you're in, it's going to ask you to choose a book shape. So you have 6 choices. You've got 3 on the top row here: portrait, square, and landscape. And you've got these ones in the bottom. So these 3 on the bottom, if you choose one of these, if the students choose one of these or yourself, you'll have access to the comic features that are in Book Creator. So usually I get the students to choose one of these ones in the bottom, and I usually go with landscape. I find the portrait one just a little bit too thin. So I usually go with the landscapes just so they have a little bit more real estate to work with. So they give that a click, and then they get to choose some other features. Okay, so when they open it up, it's going to ask them, it's going to default to the comics section first. So usually what I get them to do is I want them to master all the features that are in media first, okay? So up here we've got a plus sign, an I is for the inspector, and the third one here is going to play their book. So let's move on to the next slide here, okay? So the only hiccup I've found with Book Creator is when you've got a class of students and they get in here for the very first time and they're in your public library, there are 40 books. Sometimes the children will get excited and they'll claim multiple books, okay? So there's only 40 books, and if you have a fairly large class, if you've got 28 students, there's only 12 extra books. So if Johnny or Betty get in there and they choose 7 or 8 books to themselves, they can very quickly, use up the 40 books. So that always happens. You'll have some students that'll claim multiple books. So you can go back and you can delete the extra books that they've claimed. They really only need the 1 book. Now, that being said, Book Creator would like to make some money. So what they do is they're offering you a couple of ways to buy additional books. So they have 2 subscriptions. One is to buy a $5 monthly premium, and they'll give you an extra 180 books. Or you can pay $10 a month, and they'll allow you to claim 1,000 books. However, I've got a little workaround for you to use, so you don't have to buy either one of those. I'll show you how the students can claim 1 book, and they can use it for the whole entire school year. And I'll elaborate on that in a couple of minutes' time. Now, there was somebody this morning in one of my sessions, they teach 164 students. So there's a way around that as well. They can create multiple accounts, but that gets a little bit confusing. So for that teacher, if they're teaching that many students, they're probably going to have to forego the $5 and come up with multiple books for their students. Okay, so like I said before, they are in the business of making money. So $5 a month will give you 180 books, and $10 a month will give you 1,000 books if you're teaching, multiple classes. But for most teachers, we can get away with 1 book. But if you're teaching multiple classes, more than 40 students, you might have to claim more than 40 books. So here's the little workaround that I mentioned. The students can create a table of contents. So they would create this on their 3rd or 4th page, and they can also hyperlink to each of their sections within the book, which is kind of neat. So if they were doing, say, a project on habitats, that could be pages 3 to 8, and then their science project could be 9 to 16, and their journal writing could be later on in the book. So they can skip ahead and work on those pages. So they can have 1 book that can last them throughout the whole school year, and they can create as many pages as they like. Okay, so on this page here, I have a cover page, so you can change the background color. All you have to do is right-click on the page. Maybe I'll go into Book Creator in a few minutes, and I'll show you some of these features. So you can change the background color. You can bring in your own text. They can bring in photos. They can use the camera to take stills. So as I mentioned before, what I want the students to do, first of all, if they choose one of those ones in the bottom row that have the comic features, it's going to default to comics first. So get them to click on media, and you want to talk about these 5 features first, right? So you want to master how to import things into their book, how to use the camera, how to use the pen, how to use the text tool, and how to do an audio recording. Once they master those 5, then I let them use some of the comic features, okay? So master the media settings first, and then they can use the comic features later, okay? So to change the background color, all you're going to do, let me open up a book here, and let me go over to my public library, and I'm going to go over here to a book that I've already created, Tips and Tricks Using Book Creators. Let me open that one. If I go to pages here, you can see that I have 11 pages. The students can change the order. So if you want page 11 to be page 2, you can shuffle the order at any time. Okay, so I'm going to go here to page 11. And to create a new page, all I do is click on the plus sign here. And now I'm on page 12 of 12 here. So to change the background color, all I have to do is right click on that. I'm sorry, I go up to the eye, and now I can choose a background color. Okay. If you go down to paper here, there are some templates that you can choose from. And I kind of like these if the students are going to be writing some text on the page. So it's really easy for them to go in and to change the background color. Okay, so as I mentioned before, it's going to default to comics. Okay, so these are some things the students can work on a little bit later on. I want them to master the media functions first. Okay, so if I click on import, I can search for an image from Google. I can import something from files locally on a Windows computer, or if I'm using a Chromebook, it'll go to files. I can search my Google Drive, and they can also embed something. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, back to media. They can use the camera. Okay, they can turn on their camera and bring in a picture of an artifact. And let me click on that one again. Media. Camera. So take a picture, or they can record a video, either or. All right, let's go back to media. And the third one is the pen. Okay, so over here they can choose the different styles of pens. Last summer they added auto draw, which is a really nice feature. I am not much of an artist, as you can tell. I'm starting to draw a bicycle here. And as the students start to draw, it will start predicting what you're drawing. Okay, so there's my bicycle. I'm going to go up top here, and I'm going to say, yes, I meant to draw a bicycle. Okay, I'm going to click on the X. I'll say done. And now it's going to put that bicycle on my page for me. Okay, and I can resize it. All right, let's go back to the plus sign, back to media. Let's go to the text tool here. So students can start writing their text on the page. If they're not very good at using the keyboard, or they're a struggling writer, they can go up here to the microphone, and now they can do text-to-speech, which is a really nice feature, period. A lot of students like to use this feature, period. I'll say done, and now it's going to put my text on the page for me. All right, so that's a really nice feature that they have built in. To edit the text, all you have to do is go up to the eye, to the inspector, and now you have this formatting toolbar comes up, and now I can resize my font. I can make it centered, bold, italic, underline it, all those great things. I can change my font style to something that I like to use. Okay, so lots of choices. I can go over here and put a background color to my text box. And I can put a shadow on my text. And you can also move your text to the back of something. Let's go back up here and I'll say move to the back, move to the front. Okay? So lots of great formatting features there for students to use. Okay, let's go back to my slideshow here. So yeah, so at any time they can click on the eye and the inspector is going to lead them to formatting options where they can format their text and the photos that are on their page. Pretty straightforward. So let's take a quick look at some of the comic features. So if they choose one of these comic features from the bottom row, and it's going to default to panels, speech, thoughts, and text and stickers. So they can import any one of these things onto their page and elaborate from there. Let's go back and take a look at a few of those. So let's create another page here. And I'm going to go up to the background here, to my inspector, and I want to get back to my blank page. Those are the dots. I don't want paper, background. Have to bear with me, guys. I'm just a little bit rusty. There it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go and click on my inspector, hit the plus sign. So it defaults to panel. So if you're doing a project where you want the students to create a comic-like book, they can choose one of these backgrounds. These are going to be locked. So to unlock these, you have to click on it, and it's going to highlight blue, and then you simply right-click on it, and it's going to allow you to unlock it. If you unlock it, then you can delete it. Okay? So highlight it, make it blue, right-click, and once again, you can unlock it. Okay, and once it's unlocked, then you can delete it. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add some fancy text. So let's go over here. And so now I can choose a title of my choice. Summer in Nova Scotia. And I'll say done. Okay. So I can resize that. I can go up here to my inspector and I can change my font if I like. Lots of great choices. And I need to get that back on one line. So now I need to go up to my inspector and I need to resize that. Okay, as we saw before, I can go here and I can change the background if I like. Oh, that's my font color. I want to change just the background color. Background, there we go. Let's go red on a nice blue. There we go. Okay, so one of the features I like to do if you're using the comic section here is you can make it look a little bit more comic-like, and so the students can bring in some other images here. So let's go quickly to the internet here, media, and I'll say import, and I'll say a whale clip art, and I'll bring my image in here. Okay, so I'll say select. It's probably going to come in oversized, so I'm going to click on it once and resize it. Just taking a second for it to load here. Working out of my community library today where they've got air conditioning, so their internet connection seems to be pretty good.
I think that's cheating, Paul.
It's nice and cool. It's about 67 degrees in here.
Nice. When you
Okay, so that...
I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
You want them now or later?
I'll take them now while I'm waiting for my photo to load.
Okay. So the first question was, do the books expire or are they available all year?
They're books. The books are there for as long as you have your account.
Okay. And somebody had that question answered. The text-to-speech feature, does that support the use of special characters and accents?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You'll have to get that one as, you'll have to try that. I don't think it does.
And the other question that came up, just can you embed the link for students in a Google site instead of
Yes.
Classroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Those are all the questions that have come up so far.
Fantastic. Well, I'm not having any luck with my clip art, so let's try another one. Let's go back here and I'll try another one. Media. And we'll say fish clip art. Let's try this little guy. Okay, that looks a little bit more promising. Okay. So like I said, it comes in oversized. So now I'm going to grab my fish up here and I can change, there's the other one that didn't come in. Let's delete that one, there we go. So if I click on the box here once, I can change my background color. My page, my panel. I might have to unlock it first. Let's go to unlock. There we go. And I just want to change the color of the box here. Go to the eye. Maybe not. Border, move to front, shadow. Okay, let's try something else here. Let's go over here. Now, what is my fish saying? All right, so let's get our speech bubble right over here. And we'll resize my speech bubble. All right, so I'll say welcome to Nova Scotia. Now notice that's all caps. I can highlight that and go over here and choose. I can choose a different font. All right, so this one here is all caps and this one here is not. There we go. So my fish is saying welcome to Nova Scotia, and let's grab our bubble, pull that over a bit, go back to my inspector, and yeah, so now I can change the color of my bubble here. So I'll go with the yellow bubble. So what I want to show you guys is go over here to the plus sign here, and now I can put in my text. And I'm going to go with the caption here. All right, so when visiting Nova Scotia, be sure to check out some of our great beaches. All right, so I'll say done. All right, so now I'm going to grab this text box. I'm going to pull it down here, slide it over a little bit, and now it looks very much like what you would actually see in a comic book. All right, if I go back to my inspector there, color, that's just changing my font color. I want to change, okay, done, back in here. So there you go. There is a way to change the color of the boxes here. I'm just a little bit rusty. So now you can see it looks a little bit more comic-like, okay? So that's just one page, and of course, students can create multiple pages. All right, let's go back to my slideshow here. So as I said before, master the media, then you can show them how to use some of these features inside of comics here, and your students will gravitate to these. There's lots of other features in here too. Let me go back quickly, and there's lots of great little stickers here. If I go back here, hit the plus sign, go to stickers, and you know, they can resize these and put those on the page where needed. Lots of cool stuff. So there you go. All right, back to my slideshow. So some of my favorite features inside of Book Creator, as I mentioned before, auto draw was added last summer. So if you're not much of a drawer, That's something that comes in real handy. I mentioned before the text-to-speech feature when you create a text box up here in the right-hand corner. And I mentioned before also you can go in and you can choose some other types of papers. They've got some grid paper that you can use and also lines as well. Just let me go back and show you how you might use that. Let's go over here and create another page. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right click on my page. Actually, I want to go to the eye. Media. All right, right click on the page. There we go. I'm looking for my graph paper or my lines. So there's my line paper. That's not the one I was looking for. I want that one. Okay, so now your students can go over and choose, let's go media. I'll choose text box here and start my story with a great hook, something that's going to get everyone's attention. Last week, I went camping and a spider bit me during the night. The next day, da-da-da-da. Okay, so now I can go over here and I can pull this text box up, and now I can go to my formatting tools, go to my inspector, and I can pull this along, and it looks as though I'm actually writing right on the lines. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there you go. All right. Yeah, the next morning I woke up and I had this huge welt on my forehead. It was about the size of a tennis ball, and I'm still recovering. Okay, so don't want to discourage you from camping, but be careful out there. Okay, so that's one of my features that I like to share in Book Creator. So let's take a look at a few other features here. You can use emojis in Book Creator. So I have a hyperlink up here that's going to talk about how you can do create an assignment using emojis in Book Creator. Here's a link that I came across this spring during the pandemic. It's a link to a book that Book Creator published, and it's called the Big Book Creator Activity Book. So it's jam-packed full of interactive puzzles, games, activities. So this link here will show you how to download it, put it into your public library, and then your students can make a copy of it. And it's got about 50 pages of great activities for your students to work on. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. A couple of web tools that you can use with Book Creator. The first one here is a website called Language is a Virus. And if you hadn't heard of this, it's a very cool website where students can access various types of tools to create fantastic visuals, save them as a JPEG or a PNG, and import them into your Book Creator. I'm going to open up a tab and just show you quickly how to do this. So I'm going to go to, actually I can open up my bookmark there, my hyperlink. So the page is called Language is a Virus. And I'm going to go up here to, I'm a little rusty here, folks. You'll have to bear with me. Yes, go to Exercises and then go to Visual Poetry. Okay, I'm going to click on Lunch. Okay, so up here in the right-hand corner is where you're going to type your text. And I'm going to delete what's there. And I'm going to type in the word, just the word love. And I'm going to say my font size, let's increase it to, say, size 75. Maximum size 300. Text color, I'm going to go over here and choose a red color, if I can. And background color I'm going to leave as white. Okay, everyone ready? So down at the bottom here I have my crosshairs. I'm going to hold my finger on my trackpad and watch what happens. I'm going to draw the shape of a heart. And the whole time it's writing the word that I have in my little text box there. Okay, so I'm going to clear that. I'm going to go back and change my font size, make it a little bit smaller. And I'll try again. There we go. And draw my heart. Okay, so when you're done, you say save. Try that again. You say save, or you can take a snapshot if you're using Windows computer. Windows Shift and the letter S will allow you to take a snapshot, or if you're using a Chromebook, it's Control Shift and the split screen icon, and you can take a snapshot of that picture and then you can import it. Let's try one more time here. So I'll say save, and it doesn't seem to be loading, but usually it goes to another page. You can save it as a JPEG or a PNG, save it locally, and then import that into your book. So I'm just going to take a snapshot of that. Let me go back here to my picture and Apple Shift S. I'm going to take a snapshot of this. There we go. And that's going to go to I'm using a Windows computer this afternoon. So I'm going to save that to my desktop. And I'm just going to give it a name. I'll call it Love. Save. And close that. Go back to my book. I'm going to create another page. I do not need those lines. So let's go back here. I want a blank page. And now I need to import my picture. So I say plus media, import. I'm going to say files. So now it's going to access my desktop. And I called it Love. And now it's going to import that picture for me. Okay. So that is how you can use some visual poetry and bring that into your book. Come on, photo. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. So that is Language is a Virus. Another one is word art or Wordle. Most of you are probably familiar with this one here. So if you type in wordart.com, it'll take you to this website, and you can simply create an image of your liking. Same idea as before. Save the image and import that into your book. Okay, so up here at the top, you're going to add your words. So let's do a summer theme here. And I'm just typing in some word here. Summer camping, I'll say spider. I'll say cycling, swimming, tent, and I also got rained on. Okay, so what's going to happen here, you're going to weigh your words, okay? So the word that you want to emphasize the most, you're going to go up here and you're going to change the number, and I'm going to say this one's going to be, say, we'll make this a 7. We'll make camping a 5, and we'll make the spider a 4. Make the spider a 4. The cycling a 3, and the other 3 words are going to be a 1. Okay, so then I'm going to go over here to shapes. I'm going to choose something of my liking. So let's see if I can find something summer related. Let's go to clouds here, and I'll just choose a sleepy cloud here, the first one they recommend. I'm going to go to fonts, choose one of my liking. Let's go to lobster. And the layout, let's just go with crossings, vertical and horizontal. And there's only one thing left to do, and that is my style. Yeah, so over here you get to choose the colors. So I'm going to go up here to custom, and I'm going to change some of these colors. So I'm going to add to my palette, and let's get a red in here. So now I have 4 colors. Maybe let's get a yellow as well. Change that red one to a yellow, and add to palette. Let's add one more here. Let's get a blue, and we'll say add to palette. So now I have 5 colors in my spectrum, and now I'll say close. Okay, time for the big reveal. So we'll say visualize. So now it's going to take all of that information, and there's my word art. Okay, so summer's the largest word. If I want to change my image, I can go over here, and let's say I'm not happy with the clouds. Let's see if I can find something for camping, or maybe nothing under camping. Let's see if I can find a tent, and let's do a search. Enter. Nothing. Oh, type in sun. I'll get something slightly different here. Okay, so I'll say visualize again. Okay, so there's my new image. And bike. Sports. School. These should be loading a little bit faster. Nature. Take out bike. There we go. Okay, so let's go with this one here. And I'll say visualize. So this is simply your background to your image, and of course all your words will be emphasized. Okay, so once again, summer is the largest here at the bottom. Let's try one more. Let's go with an apple here. Visualize. Last one. Okay, so now I want to save this. So like before, I can take a snapshot, or if I go over here to save, cancel that, download, share, download. There we go. I want to save as a PNG. A PNG is a slightly larger file than a JPEG. So I'm going to save this as a PNG. So there it is there. It's called word art. And I simply go back to, so there it is there. So it's called word art. That should be on my desktop. I'm just going to take a snapshot of it as well. Apple Shift, take a snapshot. And that's going to go to my desktop. And I'm simply going to call it summer. Save. Close that. Make my way back to my book creator. So let's bring that image in. Okay, so let's open up a new page. And we'll say plus. Media, import, and files once again. It's on my desktop. I called it summer. And we'll import the photo. So those are a couple of web tools that I like to use where students can create, use their creativity, and import those into their book. So as I mentioned before, those are all of your pages. Okay, and you can shuffle the order at any time. If you have a page that you really don't need, you simply click on the 3 little dots here, and you say delete. Okay, and confirm. As I mentioned before, with your library, you're going to see your students' names in your public library. You're going to see their names on their books over here. So when they have multiple books, if you want to delete their book, all you do is go over here to this icon. Actually the first one here, and you say delete. So if Jenny or Bobby, if they create too many books, or they've got 4 or 5 books and they only really need that one book, this is where you're going to delete their extra books. So you have 40 books in your public library. As I mentioned before, there's your access code. So you're going to copy that. Okay, Control C, make your way to your Google Classroom. Let's take a quick look at that. And then we'll wrap it up and answer your guys' questions. So let's go into a Google Classroom here. And let me open one up here that I had. Yeah, emergency remote learning. Okay, so I'm going to go to classwork. And I'm going to go to create a topic. And I'll call it, get back here. I'll create a topic. And we'll say book creator. There's my topic. All right, so I'm going to create a material. And I want to say, students, welcome to Book Creator. Here's the code you will need to join our class public library, and the link is also included here. Be sure to sign in with Google. All right, so the code. So there's the code. And the last part right here, create. We're going to add a link. Okay, so the link you want to give your students is www.bookcreator.com. We're going to say add link. Okay, so there it is there. So that's going to take them to the opening page, and they're going to sign in with Google. And the last thing I have to do over here, I created a topic, and my topic was Book Creator. So I'm going to put this in Book Creator. Okay, so it's for all my students. So this is where you differentiate in Book Creator, or in this is where you differentiate in Google Classroom. So I want everyone to get access to this. So I'm going to post this, and it's going to go live. So right over here, there's my topic, Book Creator, and there's my material that I just created. There's the hyperlink to Book Creator, and there's the code. So you might want to write that on the board, or they can enlarge that. They can copy and paste it when they open up Book Creator. I'm already signed in here. No. So they're going to click on sign in, and your students are going to sign in with Book Creator, sign in with their GNAS account, and they're going to claim one of your 40 books by signing up with that code. So that is pretty much everything. There's a little bit more in my slideshow here, but I'm getting close to the hour mark here, so I don't want to go any longer. So a couple of resources here, 50 ways to use Book Creator in your classroom. There's my website, all about Book Creator. There's lots of great resources on their website. If you go to resources, just let me show you exactly where that's at. If you go over here to the three little bars, go to resources, and then scroll down to the very bottom. Okay, and this is where you can take that 1 hour certification course. They've got free weekly webinars here. There's a couple I'm actually going to take during the month of August in here, and they've got a whole list of them. Okay, so when you scroll down, they've got a calendar here and lots of great webinars on how you can learn a little bit more about Book Creator. Okay, so
Paul?
yes.
I was going to say too, if you look in there as well, the UDL book is one of the best I've ever seen about how to differentiate and how to make your material accessible. It's awesome.
Oh, that's under the UDL section?
It was
okay.
In the section that you were in already.
Yes.
With the books, you know, where they have the one elementary create, there's one on UDL in there.
Okay, fantastic. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so you can get your accreditation by taking the 1 hour course. So tips and tricks when using Book Creator. So I've got a bunch of slides here. I'm not going to elaborate on these. You can go in and look at these at your own at your own leisure. It's just a few more slides that I added to help you with creating your book for the first time. So you can do a choose your own adventure. You can hyperlink from one page to the other, same as you do in Google Slides. There's accessibility tools in there as well that are rather unique. So when the students hover over a picture, it's going to read to them. So they've added lots of great features. They're always adding to it. So it's a great tool to share with your students. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Book Creator, as you can tell. So if you have any questions, now would be a good time, or you can email me or send me a text. And I want to thank you for coming out this afternoon. So that's a little bit about Book Creator. Give it a try. I think your students will thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great tool to get students really excited about how to use, about how to write, read and write within a nice digital book. And there's lots of great features in there.